Hello and welcome to the CineKuest video podcast. Today I'm going to be doing a solo podcast of my August movie wrap-up. Last July we did a wrap-up. Didn't watch too many movies, and I know Bryce was on it with me, but also I didn't watch too many movies this month either, but I tried to remedy that this month because there was a lot of stuff coming out and a lot of stuff that I felt that I hadn't seen prior to watching certain movies, but we'll get into it in just a moment. If you want to follow me on Letterboxd, you can see all of the movies I'm watching currently. I'll have the name down here. Letterboxd at CineKuest video. You can check that out. But let's get started. So the first movie of August was Deadpool and Wolverine. And we did a review of that. And as you know, it was a pretty decent movie. I gave it a 3 out of 5 stars, according to Letterboxd, and I think according to my review as well. Not the best movie. Not the funniest Deadpool. But, I mean, I thought the jokes were a little thin. And unfortunately, that kind of gave it a lower score for me. I did got a little tired of the Ryan Reynolds Deadpool thing, the jokes, constant barrage of jokes for some reason. Not that that's bad. I just thought it was a little much, personally speaking. So that's the first movie I saw in August, Deadpool and Wolverine. The next movie I saw was Humane. I believe I saw this on Shudder. Maybe, I don't recall. Humane was directed by Caitlin Cronenberg, yes, of David Cronenberg. I believe this is his daughter, and this is her, I believe, first attempt at a film, and I thought it was pretty good. 3 out of 5 stars for me. In the wake of an environmental collapse that has forced humanity to shed 20% of its population, a family dinner erupts into chaos when a father's plan to enlist in the government's new euthanasia program goes horribly wrong. Also stars Jay Brochel, I believe is the way you say his name. I don't recall many of the other folks in this film, or where I've seen them from, or if I've seen them from. I know one guy was from an old TV show starring Susan Sarandon. An old TV show. I don't recall who else was in it, but it was an enjoyable movie. If I believe this is her first film, then she did a good job, and I hope to see more of the Cronenbergs. I believe Infinity Pool was another Cronenberg child, the brother. I believe he did that. The Cronenbergs are doing great stuff, so I'm happy to see that, and I am looking forward to the next projects. Next film I saw the TV Glow. I've been waiting a while to see this movie. It had a lot of elements that seemed to bring out the nostalgia of like the 90s Nickelodeon TV shows. At least that's what it looked like to me. Kind of like the old Are You Afraid of the Dark, Alex Mack. What else? I think that's where I ended on those shows. But it kind of gave a lot of that kind of nostalgia kind of feeling. And aesthetically, it looks fantastic. Acted really well. I thought it was a fun, it wasn't really a fun movie necessarily. It's a slow burn. I will say that. It's very much a slow burn. Directed by Jane Schoenbrunn. I'm terrible with names. I saw the TV Glow as a teenager. Owen is just trying to make it through life in the suburbs when his classmate Maddie introduces him to a mysterious late-night TV show, a vision of a supernatural world beneath their own. In the pale glow of the television, Owen's view of reality begins to crack. 3.5 stars for me out of 5. I liked it a lot. Like I said, slow burn, really not for everyone. There is messaging in there that I feel like it's, I don't know, I can't really say it's heavy-handed necessarily. I think it's pretty subtle, and I think it's done fairly well. But I obviously could have expanded more on what they were trying to get at, because it's done kind of like very subtly using the show. And I don't know. A person smarter than I am can probably analyze this way better. That's not for me to do. I just enjoyed the movie, and I do recommend it if you're into like a very like aesthetically different and kind of a different narrative, a different way of telling a narrative. That's something you should watch out for. But yeah, I saw the TV Glow. Definitely check that out. Next entry was something I actually started watching in July. Did not finish it until August. I think I got like about 25 minutes in. Had to stop. Had to do something else. But it showed some promise, and I'm was kind of shocked at how much I did enjoy it, considering these types of films, these types of possession films are terrible. They usually are just not very good, acted horribly, same old tropes. This one had a little bit of a different take, I think. And I found it a bit more interesting than the more high budget films that we've been getting, especially with the Russell Crowe movies, The Exorcism, and then The Pope's Exorcist. Those are bad. The Nun is bad. Nun 2 is bad. This one was way more enjoyable and just overall better of a film. It's called Godless, The Eastfield Exorcism. Came out in 2023. Laura is a woman tormented, torn between science and faith. Pushed by her husband to seek treatment from a congregation of zealots, a ruthless exorcist will try to save her soul by putting an innocent woman through hell. Ooh, scary. Overall, I gave it 3.5 stars. Mind you, it did take me a while to watch this movie, so I think it kind of sat with me a little bit more. But overall, I think in the world of possession films, this one kind of sits up there with like an Exorcism of Emily Rose, or God, I would keep forgetting some of these names, but if I remember it, I'll post a picture of it right here. This one came out on Tubi, so again, Tubi's been having some hits. I think there's been a few good originals that have come out. I don't recall if this one is an original film, but it's still done fairly well. Godless, The Eastfield Exorcism, directed by Nick Kozak. Again, terrible with names. I'm sorry. But yeah, definitely check it out. I don't know any of the people that come out in this film, but again, fairly enjoyable. Check it out. It's on Tubi. And next on my viewing list for August, it was Bram Stoker's Dracula. Yes, the classic Bram Stoker's Dracula, directed by Francis Ford Coppola from 1992. Anyone should have seen this movie by now. Gary Oldman's great. Winona Ryder's great. Keanu Reeves is Keanu Reeves. He's pretty much Ted from Bill and Ted's, but with a kind of terrible English accent. It's not completely to take you out of the movie, but you noticed. You know. Anthony Hopkins, fucking great. Carrie Elways, great. Richard Grant, Billy Campbell, Monica Bellucci. Who else? My favorite, again, one of my favorite artists, musical artists, Tom Waits playing Renfield. I love his character. I love Tom Waits as a singer and a musician. I love Tom Waits as an actor. I just think he takes on these really strange roles, and he'll go all out on it. I have no complaints about Tom Waits as a musician and or as an actor. He is very good, and he plays Renfield pretty crazy, and I'm here for it. And just to give the synopsis, if anyone has not seen Bram Stoker's Dracula from Francis Ford Coppola, in 19th century England, Count Dracula travels to London and meets Mina Harker, a young woman who appears as a reincarnation of his lost love. It's very dramatic, very it's what is it? I don't know what the word I'm looking for, but it's very grand type of film for Dracula. I know has a very romanticized type of feel to it. It's very lost love, but also very weird, because there's some weird scenes in this movie. And I remember as a kid, I was told not to watch this because it has some scenes of bestiality. And it does, but it's still a great fucking movie. Definitely check it out. 4 out of 5 stars for me. Obviously, it's not perfect. Probably like some of that star has to do with Keanu Reeves and his terrible English accent. I love Keanu Reeves. Like, he's great. But I don't think he's a very good dramatic actor. But what can you do? I think he's good in this movie. It's just that his accent is just really not great. So, do with that what you will. But definitely check it out. I believe this is on Tubi as well. Next film on the list is Cuckoo, 2024, Tillman Singer. If you saw the review for this, again, link down in the description. I put a thumbnail here. 2.5 stars for me. I didn't really like this movie very much. I'll reiterate a real quick version of that. Had all the elements of things that I would like in a film such as this. It's acted great. Soundtrack's great. Setting, beautiful. But for some reason, the story just took me out entirely. Like, I didn't feel it was done well. I didn't feel it didn't play out well with the creature and all that kind of stuff. I was just kind of like, meh. It's down the middle for me. Would I watch it again? I might give it another chance. I'm not going to say like I'm just going to dismiss this movie altogether. This is a film that I feel, since I feel like I should like this movie, And I'm not going to force myself to try and like this movie, but I will rewatch it to give it another chance. That's as much as I can do because, like, see, I look at it, I remember the trailer. I'm just looking at this image right here from Letterboxd. I should love this movie. And again, it's acted so well and all that kind of stuff, but it just didn't work for me, and I don't know why. I will give it another try, for God's sakes. I'll do that. Just to give the quick synopsis of the film. After reluctantly moving to the German Alps with her father and his new family, Gretchen discovers that their new town hides sinister secrets as she's plagued by strange noises and frightening visions of a woman pursuing her. That one scene on the bike, the person behind her, that shit's scary. Like, that brought me into the movie. I just wanted more of that, scares, all that kind of stuff. Just didn't do it for me. It wasn't as fun as I was hoping. I hate that I don't like this movie. But I don't like it. And again, I'll give it another shot. Next movie on the list, it's Harmony Korine's 1997 Gummo. Good God. 4 out of 5 stars for me. This movie is strange. It is weird. It's much just a look at a portion of what assuming is like, could be the U.S. It's the U.S., and it's very run-down wasteland of a town with characters that are not good, but they're surviving in whatever they got to do. It's almost like Mad Max, modern Mad Max, but like in a really shitty suburb, you know? Not that they're fighting each other or anything, but character-wise, personality-wise, these people are shit. But objectively shit. But I just don't really feel that they are. I don't know. It's hard to just judge them entirely because it feels like that this is like almost like the most realistic portrayal of America, or as bad as America could get. You know, I just like the title line on here. It says, "Prepare to visit a town you'd never want to call home." That's very true. Solomon and Tumler are 2 teenagers killing time in Xena, Ohio, a small town that has never recovered from the tornado that ravaged the community in the 1970s. Yes, it's a very poor town. These Solomon and Tumler, like, we get introduced to them in a very graphic way where they're doing something to a cat, and it's horrific, you know. And a lot of the things that people do in this movie is horrific, grotesque, obscene, but you don't know how else they live their lives, you know. It's just kind of like their everyday thing. It's not shocking to them. It seems that's just normalized behavior that they do, and that's every day. And it's horrific to imagine that actually being a case realistically in the U.S., you know, or just in any town. That humans should not live like this, but some people do, and it's wild. There's some wild scenes in here. Some wild scenes that just that gross me out. And some scenes that really make me really, really uncomfortable. But I can't knock Harmony Korine. He's a really unique director, and I don't want to seem pretentious or anything because I don't think I can be, but I mean, it may seem that way in this case. If you're a fan of film in general, like, you should just have a copy of this in your collection, or at least watch it, you know, whether you like it or not. I mean, I can't say that there's certain films, like, you're not a fan if you haven't seen this particular film. I'm just encouraging you to watch it. If you haven't seen it, you want to avoid something like this, I totally understand. But, I mean, if you have the opportunity to check it out, and judge it for what it is whenever you watch it. But, Gummo. That's it. The next film that I saw in August is a film that I've been kind of like just... I don't know why I wait to see some of these movies. Like, I feel like I can't just casually watch something. I have to give them all of my attention, I have to be present while watching this movie. Kind of like with Gummo, same thing. I have to be present. I have to kind of just immerse myself entirely in the film. I Saw the Devil from 2010, directed by Kim Ji-woon, is one of those films. It is fantastic movie. It's so good. I was kind of on the edge of my seat the whole time watching this. Tagline from Letterboxd: "Abandon all compassion." Kyung-chul is a dangerous psychopath who kills for pleasure. Soon-hyun, a top secret agent, decides to track down the murderer himself. He promises himself that he will do everything in his power to take vengeance against the killer, even if it means that he must become a monster himself. This movie's so good. I can't wait to rewatch it. It's kind of like one of those extreme horror films, but I can't really call this like horror too much. But it is kind of in that realm. It's very violent. The antagonist just is a real complete other piece of shit, and you want everything to happen to him, but he gets away, and then he continues on doing some more horrific shit, and then you just want our protagonist to just go in and really like fuck him up. It's just a great movie. It's a long journey, and I definitely recommend checking it out. 4.5 out of 5 stars for me. Definitely check it out. I believe this was on Tubi as well, but I'm pretty sure you can see it in other streaming services. But this was so close to a 5 for me. If I rewatch it again, I mean, I could change my score because it's almost damn near a perfect film. I think we're halfway there. I told you I watched a lot of stuff in August. Next on the list is The Bike Riders from 2023, starring Austin Butler, Jodie Comer, Tom Hardy, Michael Shannon, Michael Feist, Norman Reedus comes out. That was a shocker. I didn't know he came out. After a chance encounter at a local bar, strong-willed Kathy is inextricably drawn to Benny, the newest member of the Midwestern Motorcycle Club. The Vandals, led by the enigmatic Johnny. Much like the country around it, the club begins to evolve, transforming from a gathering place for local outsiders into a dangerous underworld of violence, forcing Benny to choose between Kathy and his loyalty to the club. Acting's great. I think overall the movie is kind of mid, 2.5 out of 5 for me. It was kind of boring. I was expecting a little bit more. I've seen Sons of Anarchy. I've seen how crazy it can get. I mean, if this is based on a realistic story, I mean, I can see why it's not so overly exciting, or at least the portrayal of who's kind of telling the narrative might be the reason why. But I don't know, man. Like, this movie is just kind of boring to me. Next movie is Dark Waters from 2019, directed by Todd Haynes. A tenacious attorney uncovers a dark secret that connects a growing number of unexplained deaths to one of the largest corporations. In the process, he risks everything, his future, his family, and his own life, to expose the truth. This stars Mark Ruffalo, Anne Hathaway, Tim Robbins, Bill Pullman, Bill Camp, Victor Garber, Mira Winningham, a bunch of other people. This is kind of an offhand, just a quick watch for me. I didn't necessarily choose this, but I just kind of saw the title. I saw Mark Ruffalo, and I was like, I'll watch it. And I did. It's pretty good. 3 out of 5 stars for me. I believe it's based on a true story. Corporations suck, and fuck them. That's all I got to say about that. So check out Dark Waters if you can. I believe this was on Netflix. This was kind of a surprisingly enjoyable movie. I like a lot of movies that kind of go after big corporations and show how shitty they are and how we should just sue the shit out of them. But I'm pretty sure they have safety nets, and they will continue to prosper while the rest of us die off and the corporation lives on, because it's whatever's good for the corporation. Speaking of what's best for the corporation, Alien 1979, directed by Ridley Scott, starring Tom Skerritt, Sigourney Weaver, Veronica Cartwright, Harry Dean Stanton, John Hurt, Ian Holm, and a whole lot more. Fucking great cast. I've seen this movie one time, and I don't remember when, and I didn't remember a lot of details of the movie from whenever I did see it, which could have been far in the past. I don't remember I was a kid when I saw it. I don't remember. I just know of it. For all I know, I could have imagined watching it because I've seen so many clips of the movie also. If this is the first time I saw it, bad. Like, I love alien films. This is obviously a classic. But if this is the first time I've seen this movie, like, shame on me for seeing this for the first time just recently. And you know why? It's because I was going to go see Romulus. Let's take a little detour and watch some of the first ones leading up to it, because I heard that Romulus takes place between Alien and Aliens. Could talk about that next. If you know, Alien. During its return to Earth, commercial spaceship Nostromo intercepts a distress signal from a distant planet when a 3-member team of the crew discovers a chamber containing thousands of eggs on the planet. A creature inside one of the eggs attacks an explorer. The entire crew is unaware of the impending nightmare set to descend upon them when the alien parasite planted inside its unfortunate host is birthed. This movie's fantastic. It's great. Perfect movie. 5 out of 5 stars for me. This is my first time rating it, so I'm ashamed. I'm ashamed of myself. There's some movies I should have watched by now. Some of them horror that I will get to definitely this year. Need to remedy those movies that I haven't seen. And this was one of them, at least I think. Again, brain fog. This movie's great from beginning to end. Action, actors. It's a bit of a slow burn, but really builds the tension. It's real dark, claustrophobic, all that kind of stuff. And even those scenes with the singular alien is enough to cause a lot of dread. And it's classic cinema, this one. It's just a perfect movie all around. Check it out if you haven't seen it. Don't be like me. Watch this movie. Watch it quickly if you haven't. Watch it as soon as you can. Stop what you're doing right now. Stop this video. Watch Alien. If you haven't. But if you have, and it's one of your favorites, stop this video, watch it again. Come back. It's another first for me. Watching Aliens 1986, James Cameron. Oh, fuck. Had never seen this movie before. Just clips on the internet. I know some of the classic things, the iconic images of Ripley in that big old robotic type of suit. Ripley, the sole survivor of the Nostromo's deadly encounter with the monstrous alien, returns to Earth after drifting through space in hypersleep for 57 years. Although her story is initially met with skepticism, she agrees to accompany a team of colonial Marines back to LV 426. This is a perfect sequel. It's James Cameron. I mean, the guy makes kind of perfect movies. Are they the best? No, but they're perfect overall. It's got the action. It's got some of the scares. It's not as horrific or scary as the first one because it had a certain tone to it. And James Cameron is kind of just big, grand action, war in space. And it's great. I mean, it has, again, Sigourney Weaver comes out, Carrie Henn. This is classic James Cameron cast. You see a lot of these people in his movies. Terminator, you have Bill Paxton, Michael Biehn, Paul Reiser. This cast is amazing. All right? It's fucking amazing. Lance Henriksen as the cyborg or the synthetic. It's great. He's great. It's just great. I love it. I'm ashamed that it took me so long to watch this movie. 5 out of 5 for me. Definitely check out Aliens by James Cameron. And continuing on with the Alien franchise, this is actually the one I'd probably seen second most in the Alien franchise. Now I'm just talking the Alien movies, not like Prometheus, which kind of is prequel and Alien Covenant. I've seen those plenty of times. I've seen those way more than I saw Alien or Aliens. Again, shameful. What am I doing? But I'm not talking about those. But as far as the quadrilogy of Alien films, this is the second most one I've seen. And this one's dark. It's 1992. It's directed by David Fincher. Alien 3, Alien Cube, however you want to call it. After escaping with Newt and Hicks from the alien planet, Ripley crash lands on Fiorina 161, a prison planet and a host to a correctional facility. Unfortunately, although Newt and Hicks do not survive the crash, a more unwelcome visitor does. The prison does not allow weapons of any kind, and with the aid of being a long time away, the prisoners must simply survive any way that they can. That was one. Again, I'd seen this maybe twice in the past, and there's that one thing I did not remember for some reason. It's one of those details because it hits me every single time like it's brand new, and it's the fact that Newt and Hicks die. Again, I think it's because since I hadn't seen Aliens prior, and then I saw Alien 3 first, I was just kind of whoever these people were, I don't remember. Now I was watching Aliens, it hits harder, and it's really, really dark how this movie starts and how this movie just plays out in general. It's very bleak. I did like it still. It's 3 out of 5 for me. Sigourney Weaver again does a great job, and everyone else in the cast does a great job as well. But definitely check that out. Now, continuing with the fourth in the quadrilogy is Alien Resurrection from 1997. This is the one I've seen the most. I remember seeing a lot of the making of on like HBO or something whenever the movie was just about to come out. And I don't recall if it was going to come out in theaters when I saw that or it was already coming to HBO at the time. But 200 years after Lieutenant Ripley died, a group of scientists clone her, hoping to breed the ultimate weapon. But the new Ripley is full of surprises, as are the new aliens. Ripley must team up with a band of smugglers to keep the creatures from reaching Earth. Sigourney Weaver, Winona Ryder, Ron Perlman, Brad Dourif. Brad Dourif is just great. I love Brad Dourif. And Ron Perlman as like... He's fun in this movie, but he is very much... Ron Perlman. There's like so many weird scenes in this movie, unnecessary scenes and kind of goofy scenes that, you know what, it's an okay movie. It's not the best, but I mean, it's still an alien film and it has Sigourney Weaver in there, and that makes it good. That's good enough for me. Not as good as the first or second one, but you know, it's not the worst. It's not Alien versus Predator or any... Alien versus Predator, the second one. That one's a piece of shit. After watching those 4 films, I went to go see Alien Romulus. 4 out of 5 stars for me. I really enjoyed it. I thought the cast did great. Kaylee Spaney, I think David Johnson, the guy who plays their synthetic. They're great. I enjoyed it a lot. Of course, there's some annoying characters that get their ends, and that's good. I need them to get completely annihilated. While scavenging the deep ends of the derelict space station, a group of young space colonizers come to face with the most terrifying life form in the universe. Visually, it's great. It's shot really well, acted really well. Aliens look cool. Action's great. Story moves along pretty quickly. And that's all I can ask for it's kind of a sequel to Alien, prequel to Aliens. It kind of sits in the middle. And I enjoyed it, and I don't have much else to say other than check it out if you can. It was fun, and I can't wait to watch it again. I want to watch all of them, kind of in this. I want to go back from the beginning and watch like Prometheus, Alien Covenant, Alien Romulus, Aliens, and then just go down the line. You know, I can't wait to do that. So I wait for this for streaming or a physical copy of it, which would be cool. So 4 out of 5 for me. I really liked it a lot. So next on the list was a rewatch, because I initially saw this in the theaters back in March, I believe. Winnie the Pooh, Blood and Honey 2. I can't say the director's name. I don't know. Rise Frake Waterfield, 2024. 5 months following the murders, Christopher Robin tries to return to his regular life while dealing with his PTSD deep within the 100-acre wood. A destructive rage grows as Winnie the Pooh, Piglet Owl, and Tigger find their home and their lives endangered after their existence is revealed. I did a review on this coming up soon. Again, this is the second time I've watched it. It's an enjoyable movie, you know. The first one's trash, obviously. And this one kind of has like a different take on it being a sequel to that movie. But you would just have to find out. Like, it's streaming right now. You can rent it. I can't wait for the Pooniverse. You know, like, this is where I feel like the pretentiousness of loving film or just watching all kinds of movies just like flies out the fucking window. You know, if I'm watching Trauma or something like this is kind of where all that fits. This is trash cinema, but it's trash cinema done fairly well. It's a ridiculous movie. You know, it takes itself seriously. Then it goes into like comedic territory. Then just horrific gore, and then back to seriousness. It just jumps all over the place, and I think it does it fairly well. I mean, a lot of people probably disagree with me. It's not necessarily a good movie, but I enjoy it. 3 out of 5 stars for me. Next movie I saw was on Prime. I believe it's on Prime. It's a Jackpot starring Awkwafina and John Cena. This is a fun movie, you know. Is it something I'd watch again? Probably not. It's directed by Paul Feig. I don't remember. He's done a lot of stuff that I. In the near future, a grand lottery has been established. The catch: kill the winner before sundown to legally claim their multi-billion-dollar jackpot. When Katie Kim mistakenly finds herself with the winning ticket, she reluctantly joins forces with amateur lottery projection agent Noel Cassidy, who must get her to sundown in exchange for a piece of her prize. Um, John Cena's funny, Aquafina's funny. I enjoy both these people whenever they're in films. It's a pretty mediocre film. I thought the premise is kind of funny, adds a little darker comedy element to this film. Again, 2 out of 5. It's a fun film, It's a nice throwaway watch. Is it gonna stand the test of time? Probably not. But if you just so happen to like have nothing else to watch, like absolutely nothing, put this on. You might have a good time with it. The next movie I saw was a Shudder exclusive, Hellhole 2024, directed by John Adams and Toby Poser. The Adams Family, not the traditional Adams Family that you're thinking. This is a family that makes films together, horror movies. They did Hellbender, which was awesome. This one, Hellhole. They did another one, which I'll talk about in just a minute. Far away in the desolate Serbian wilderness, a U.S.-led fracking crew uncover a dormant monster gestating inside a centuries-old French soldier. Now awakened and exposed in its most dangerously fragile state, it tears through the men on the grounds in search of a new womb. I will say that as far as like the films that the Addams Family have made, I think this is the weakest one. It's also very different. I couldn't really pinpoint it. Cinematography wise, it just has like a different type of feel to it. It's doesn't have the same characteristics and that I've seen in their previous films. They always have like a type of there's a type of hue, a color tone. Just that alone gives it like a sinister kind of characteristic. This one didn't. I feel like it was trying to have that, but like completely brightened up in this particular setting. So that was kind of a characteristic that I felt I was missing from this movie because I feel like that's the way they kind of like, just the way they make films look. And going back to Hellbender and then the one I'm going to talk about in just a minute, those had that. And this one, the CGI was not good either. I felt like this was even more lower budget than they normally do, or at least the way they made the film look. They rely heavily on practical effects, and I think they do that very well. Their storylines are pretty decent also. This one, I don't know. It was the weakest of the bunch, and this was 2 out of 5. I wouldn't say this is a film to write off the Addams Family. I look forward to the future projects because also the soundtracks are very good. Also, the soundtrack that they put in this one it was good. The songs are good. The music that they make is good. I just didn't feel it fit, and I'll talk about that in the next movie as well. But it was lackluster for me, and it's unfortunate. But I still wait for their next project because I think they have a lot of promise. Speaking of the Addams Family films, Where the Devil Roams. This was a Tubi original, I believe, 2023, directed by Zelda Adams and Toby Poser. John Adams as well. Like it's the dad, the mom, and the daughter. Traces a family of murderous sideshow performers as they travel around the world on the dying carnival circuit. Yeah, they're like in the carnival, and they're like a sideshow act, and they're not doing great. And this movie is a bit confusing on the field, like on the time frame. It feels like it should be like, I don't know, in the 40s, but I felt like they had a lot of people that were like extras in the circus that almost seemed like they were just out of Hot Topic in a way. Their costumes didn't really represent the time I think that they were going for. Stylistically, it looks cool. It has the same Addams Family kind of like I talked about earlier. The tone, the hue, just the characteristics of how they shoot everything. I like the way they do that. I think my one gripe about this movie was, I mean, yeah, it's really like the one thing that I noticed a lot, and it kind of like threw me off, was the fact that they were using The music that they normally make, which is good. I like it. It just didn't fit well with the movie. It just felt out of place, and that kind of threw me off because I felt like if they were trying to get like a more authentic uh, portrayal of the setting and time that they were in, the music didn't do that at all. But I still enjoyed it. Now we're gonna come out of left field. Saint Elmo's Fire from 1985, directed by Joel Schumacher. I had started watching this movie with a free trial to what would have been Stars, I believe, almost last year, and I never finished it. I don't know why. I enjoy the Brett Pack. I enjoy the actors in it. You have Ali Sheedy, Judd Nelson, Emilio Estevez, Rob Lowe, Demi Moore, and Andrew McCartney. Like the quintessential Brat Pack minus like Molly Ringwald or something. I don't know. I'd never seen this movie. I just only I know the song, you know. The song gets you going. It's a really cool 80s tune. A group of friends graduates from the halls of Georgetown University into lives that revolve around sex and career aspirations. Kirby waits tables to pay for law school. His roommate Kevin struggles at a DC newspaper as he searches for the meaning of love. Jules may be an object of adoration and envy, but secretly she has problems of her own. Demure Wendy is in love with Billy, a lovable sax player and irresponsible drunk. And Alex wants it all. A career in politics and the appearance of a traditional home life. Alex's girlfriend, Leslie, is an ambitious architect who doesn't know about his infidelity, but his new allegiance to the Republican Party is already enough to put her off of marriage. Yeah, that is, there's a lot going on in this movie. Normally a story like this I really wouldn't care for necessarily, but I feel like it kind of like predates the 90s classic Reality Bites. I feel like that's kind of like the 80s. This is the 80s version of that movie. Or that's the 90s version of this movie with a smaller cast. That one has Winona Ryder, Ethan Hawke, Janine Garofalo, and Steve Zahn, I believe. Anyways, this was 3 out of 5 stars for me. I enjoy the Brat Pack, you know. And it was fun to see him in a different setting than I'm normally used to seeing them in. I mean, Judd Nelson, Emilio Estevez, Ali Sheedy, Breakfast Club. That's kind of like where I zone in for them. Demi Moore, I think that Wet Wild Summer or whatever it's called with John Cusack in the 80s, and like The Seventh Seal and all these, you know, like I don't really know her from 80s films. I mean, I kind of knew her more from when she came up in the 90s as a movie star. Rob Lowe, The Outsiders. Emilio Estevez, Rob Lowe, The Outsiders, Rob Lowe, Tommy Boy, Parks and Rec. That's where I know him from. And Andrew McCartney, Weekend at Bernie's, and Weekend at Bernie's 2. That's probably where I much know like certain like individual actors, but it was fun to see him in this kind of ensemble cast. I don't know how much I have any sort of want to watch it again. I may if it's kind of on the background, but overall, decent movie. Not one of my favorites, but it was just interesting to see them outside of where I normally would in film. Especially Andrew McCartney, like fucking Weekend at Bernie's 1 and 2. That's all I know him from. But 3 out of 5 stars. Last but not least, I had to go out with a bang. It was one movie I was kind of really wanting to see after, you know, I didn't even put it on here, The Crow. Did I put it on here? You know, I don't know if that was deliberate or what. Unless hold on, let me go back real quick. There's the one I missed. I missed The Crow. If you saw our review, which I appreciate anyone who watched it, it's doing fairly well. Movie's bad. And I couldn't let August go out with The Crow, man. Like, I just couldn't do it. And knowing that there was a movie out there like this that I could have watched instead, mind you, limited showings. I was only one showing 50 minutes away from me. And I had to watch it one day before work. And I had to get up really early to drive to go watch this movie. And I am glad I did, because it was probably one of the better movies in August that I saw. Um, that's an original film. Strange Darling. It was in 2023, directed by J.T. Molnar. Nothing is what it seems when a twisted one-night stand spirals into a serial killer's vicious murder spree. This movie had me guessing on who was the antagonist of this movie. You know, who's the protagonist? Who's the antagonist? Immediately, it's not shot, or it's not told in a linear fashion. So like that's why it kind of keeps you guessing. You know, you would have, if they had gone linear with the narrative, it would have killed a lot of the aspect of the film as far as the surprises and like the twists and turns that it goes through. This is an awesome movie. This was 4.5 out of 5 stars for me. A shockingly good film. I enjoyed it so much. Willa Fitzgerald is amazing. She's fucking amazing. She gave this performance at the end of the movie, towards the end, basically it's the end of the movie, and it's strange. It's kind of gut wrenching, and she doesn't say a word, which is, as an actor in general, it doesn't get any better than that. If you can emote so much just kind of with body movement and eyes and just your visceral reactions that you're going through and you're trying to respond to, it was so good. Another actor that I haven't been really too fond of, because I saw him kind of in those when he was younger. I think it was the Nightmare on Elm Street remake. I was just like, this guy sucks. I don't like him. And then I believe it was in Jennifer's Body too. I don't know, he always played this emo fucking guy, and I was just like, ugh, get me out of here. I kind of had the same reaction with Robert Pattinson, him in his Twilight days. You know, later on I saw him in The Lighthouse, and that fucking blew me away. This guy's an amazing actor. And I say this about this guy as well, Kyle Gallner. Holy shit, man. This guy is so good. Willa Fitzgerald and Kyle Gallner stole the show, man. They were so good in this movie. They really kind of play off each other very well, but like you don't know who is the villain in this movie, or are they both villains? You know, you just don't know until like obviously towards the end of the movie. You're kind of like guessing, but you still kind of don't know necessarily if anyone is actually good or bad. Like it's just fucking nuts. But it was acted well. It was amazingly acted. Shot well. Cinematography was great. And I think they specified it was shot on 35 millimeter. No, okay, cool. I'm blind. I can't really tell much difference in any of these things. I mean, that's why now I'm like, if I see a DVD, it's cool. Blu-ray, cool. 4K, cool. Which one can I afford? The acting, the story, it's all just one big original package of awesome. And it's a shame that this only had a limited run, because this should have been the bigger movie. The Crow took that away from a movie like this. It should have been in more theaters. And it's just really frustrating, you know, because The Crow is a high budget film, and that is the worst right now of the year. Haven't seen Borderlands yet, but I'll get into it. But this probably should have been out of all the films that came out that either had to do with like a franchise or just overall kind of like throwaway scripts and just let's make a little money off of this. Let's just put it on streaming, blah, 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 whatever. This one in August was the one that should have been the star. This one right here. And I got to watch it in theaters, and I'm very happy about that. If you have a chance to see it at any point, I highly recommend watching Strange Darling. Please do it. Okay, that brings us to the end, finally, of my August wrap-up. Did I watch any TV? I don't think so. I'm glad to get back on the movie train here and watch as many as I can. I'm like, want to just inundate my brain with more movies, because I love watching movies. We hope for good. We do not hope for bad. But if it's bad, please make it an entertaining bad. A funny bad. A so bad it's good bad. That it's good. Don't make it so bad that it's bad and boring and all that. That is the worst. That is the worst. Don't do that, please. And that's what The Crow was. Just terrible. And I should add it on here. I should. I don't even remember where I watched it, but it was almost going to be the last movie of August, and I'm really happy it wasn't. It's just so much so that I was just like, I'm not even going to record the fact that I watched this. But, I'll do it just to keep consistency. I'll put it on my Letterboxd. I put it just after St. Elmo's Fire because I think that's when I watched it. I don't even remember. I watched it the first day it came out. So thanks for watching, and if you like this video, please like and subscribe. If you want to see any of the reviews, you can check them out on any one of these videos that pop up here. Check out the podcast. Check out our reactions. Check out our mini reviews that we do. Check us out on TikTok and on Instagram. That's where we're most active. And, just appreciate you watching. Thank you. And we'll see you next time.